Alright, so let's talk bracketing. On the 5100, if you go all the way over to the bottom right, you can choose bracketing, which is auto exposure bracketing, which will take 3 shots, however far apart you set them. So this number here is your how many stops you want the images apart. If you set it to 1 stop, it'll take an image 1 stop down, right at 0, perfectly exposed, and then 1 stop up, overexposed. And that'll allow you to make HDR shots, and we have a whole nother video that'll explain exactly what auto exposure bracketing will do for you. That's pretty much it. There's no other way to set it on the camera with another button, so you have to press I info twice and go down to this bracketing mode right down there. There's one other thing I wanted to mention about bracketing that I didn't earlier. So if I go down and set my bracketing mode, I can't. Whoa. So this is something that you'll find every now and then, is that your bracketing mode is not available, or some other modes are not available. And so you really need to dive into your menus and see, okay, what do I have set that could be a problem? I happen to know that I set multiple exposure to be on, and so multiple exposure needs to be off in order to use bracketing. So the other thing that I notice is when HDR is on, it's also, you're not able to use bracketing. So make sure you check those two things in your menu. I believe those are the two things that will affect you. Multiple exposure and HDR generally will not allow you to set bracketing. So anyway, if we go back out here, actually no, if we go back in here, we have to set HDR off, as I just said. So now that HDR is off, if we go out here, we can set our bracketing. So I'm just going to set it to 1.3 stops. And I wanted to show you on this menu, if you see these 3 dashes here. So the 3 dashes and the AE bracketing means that you have auto exposure bracketing on. But what I wanted to show you is that if you're also using exposure compensation, which, let me just switch to aperture priority mode so that I can use this button on the top. Exposure compensation will shift your entire bracket up and down the exposure range, essentially. So if you had it set to overexpose by 1 stop, your entire bracket will be set up. So make sure you check that when you turn bracketing on. Make sure you check that your exposure compensation is set to 0. That'll make a difference as to how your shots come out. So, I'm Adam with Camera Guides, and this is brought to you by Stockoto. Thanks for watching.